Okay, I think we'll get started. Good afternoon, everyone. How are we doing? Good, good. Welcome. Glad you're here. We've got it was a long board meeting this month. Lots of data, lots of information, so we'll get right to it. And there'll be a number of people who will be coming up and talking about things today. So just start at the top. There were some presentations. We're not going to do them today because one of them you already saw, the Aleutian Go app, so hopefully you're all using it. And it is case sensitive with the login. Right, RJ? Finally got that figured out for me. Technology still challenges me, so we got it though. Now I get my pop-ups, so we're all good. And there was also a presentation by Melissa Gallagher. Is this here? No. She did a great job sharing with the board where we're going with continuing education and how we're going to have more of that available in our communities, to our community members, doing it at Kish, doing it at other locations out in our communities. And by fall, we're going to have next fall we'll have a CE guidebook that kind of highlights the offerings I know we used to do one years ago, and we'll be doing one again. So that's all really good stuff moving forward. Melissa's doing a great job leading that effort for us. Let's see, jump down here. 50th anniversary committee, I'll talk about that for a second. Things are going really well there as we're planning. There's quite a good sized group of people, from board members to community members to employees, who are really working on projects, activities, and things related to our 50th anniversary. There's Melissa. I just talked about you and you missed it. I said good things though. Now you'll have to watch it. Now you'll have to watch it on the screen. But really good things going, and it's going to be a great year in celebration of our college. So keep watching for updates on that. Anything in particular, Katie, that you think the group should know?
Kickoff January.
Okay, kickoff in January. That's when we'll start. And there's some new events in addition to the golf outing and the gala. There'll be some new events that we're doing. Are we still going to look at that wine in the garden kind of thing? In July, kind of highlighting our beautiful gardens on campus, kind of a new event for us, and really trying to work with alumni and getting a lot of alumni involved. So that'll be really a great year for us, and I'm really looking forward to being a part of that. Strategic planning, we need to do strategic planning. The last plan that was done at the college was from 2012. It was a plan for 2012 to 2017. Still in 17, but we're on our way into 18. So we are looking at, Kevin and I have met a couple of times, and kind of how do we take this? So I think what we're going to do is we're going to kind of look at getting some help to getting it rolling. It's been 10 years since we looked at our vision and mission, and I think there's probably some updates, maybe some tweaks we want to do a little bit. There's been a lot of discussion about really focusing on local. That is not part of our vision and mission right now, so I think that there will probably be some work done there. We'll get a committee together. 5 years ago, when the strategic plan was done, there was a committee of board members, employees, others involved in that process. So we will be getting a committee together again once we just have the structure of someone helping us do that. I think Kevin and I have decided we're throwing in the towel on, we could do it, we know that, but it's just, we think to really do it well, we're going to need some help, and we really want a good one. And I think some of the information you're going to hear today is going to explain why it's going to be so important that we focus on the right things because of the direction our college is going. So that'll be really good stuff, and looking forward to getting that rolling, and hopefully by next month we'll have a better update on that. We did some comparing. This is the time of year where we pass the budget. The college budget, we've seen it, it's been open. There was a public hearing, nobody had comments, but we did pass the budget for this year, and so there was a lot on the agenda related to the budget. And we're in a good place. Getting the money from the state we're supposed to get the money from the state. Where's Jill? Jill, you're not with your people. That threw me off. But you know what else? You're all going to have to move down 2 chairs, because she's not going to like that you're not balanced. We were told we're going to get the money from the state, but we haven't gotten the money from the state. So for now, it's like a receivable, correct? Am I saying that right? Okay. Yeah, so we're waiting for half of it from last year, and we've gotten a smidgen from this year. So we're still waiting for that money to come in, but we're hopeful. We're hopeful that we're supposed to get it. That we were told we were getting it, so that's a good thing. So financially, right now, we're not in a bad spot. But some of our, okay, RJ, how do I just get it to start? Brooke can get it? Hello, Brooke. Thank you. Look at that magic. Aren't they wonderful? So this is the dashboard, and this is something new we're starting. We started it last month, and we're going to be doing it monthly in the board reports. And basically, it's got these four charts on the left, the two in the middle and the two on the left side, will change every month. They are monthly numbers. They're ever changing. Here's our head count history. For those who are looking for this information and want to have it at your fingertips, Matt, where's Matt? On your portal page? Okay, it'll be on the portal page. So this information will be available for people to look at, and it'll be updated monthly with the board packet. So you also can find it in the board packet if you're looking for it. So we're sharing what are we looking at our head count. So the small line you can see up there is our point in time for fall. So as of the date September 12th, that's where we were. And then the 4021 last year was our total fall head count. And then you can see how we're progressing to date. So last year at this time we were at 3775. We're at 3417, so we're down. You go over here to our full-time equivalents. Last year at this time we were at 2362. Right now we're at 2146. If you do the math, that's down 9.1%. So we are down in enrollment 9.1%, our official 10th day enrollment number. And that's the all-in. Then this one's really interesting, and I know it's hard to see here, but especially for you in student services might be very interested in looking at this information a little bit closer. So this kind of looks at our applications and how our applicants transition so that we can kind of see how we're trending. So there's the dark is the total amount of applications in the 3 years. So you can see we're going down in total applications, and then we broke it out by some groups. We look at in-district, and when we talk about in-district here, it's students who are coming out of our in-district high schools. So in-district 22 and under, correct, Matt? Am I saying that right? Is this in-district for graduating from our in-district high schools? Or is this just in-district tuition?
Just in-district residents.
Residents, okay, if they're okay, so this will be more than just graduating from our high schools because they've moved here and they've established residency. Okay, thank you. There's so many different ways we've been slicing and dicing numbers lately because the 9.1 is very upsetting to me, and so we're trying to figure out why we're down 9.1. So we've been doing a lot of data analysis, which I'll be showing you in a minute. So we looked at 22 and under, how are we doing there? And you can see, so what the number is, this is the raw number, and the percent above is actually our transition rate. So when you get over here and you look at our 22 and under in district, 62% of those applicants become enrollees. So that's a really good population for us. Then you look at the 22 and under out of district applicants. That's smaller. This is so you can see we went from 1201 down to 947. So we lost a lot of applications in out of district under 22. And then if you look at the matriculation or the matriculation rate, the transition rate, it's only 23%. So we do way better in getting students. So why is this a good measure for us? Where should we be putting our efforts? This is where we should be putting our efforts. So this number here, the 394, 40%, this is our adult population in district. So while it's significantly less, we also have a harder time getting those people to transition because they apply and then life happens and something comes up. So this is the sweet spot for us. This is where we really need to be working, is on our 22 and under in-district population and working on getting those. So last year we transitioned 66%. This year it was 62. Our overall transition went up. Last year, our overall transition was 36%, and now we're at 42%. So this is just really good data, and every month this will change. We'll get new applications in. We'll, not significantly so much down here anymore, but then next semester we'll start all over with new applications. So just again, kind of looking at where are our students coming from? So when we're talking about our enrollment numbers and where we're at, we can really dissect and see what's going on. And then we're looking at our CE and contract training revenue. Last year at this time, we had 113,505. You can't see this, but this is like 106 or 104. So we're a little bit down there as well, 106. So we're a little bit down in that area, but we're working on that, and that ebbs and flows. It could be part of it, could be timing. We know we're doing well with truck driving and some other things. So, but again, this just really helps us, helps the board understand where we're at. So very common for boards to have dashboards, and this will help us in our AQUIP portfolio too. But the board is liking being able to see the data, and we will show this every month at the presidential briefing. These two are course retention and success rates. We've got like course completion, course success, developmental English, developmental math. These are only biannual metrics, so they will only change twice a year, but they still do change from an annual basis. And then our persistence rate, and that's just our overall, that's term, so that's fall to spring, spring to fall. How do we do at keeping our students at our college? Okay, so like I mentioned, the 9.1, see if I get the right gadget here. The 9.1 didn't make me too happy or anybody too happy. Oh, I just have to go to another document.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Thank you. Okay. So we've spent lots and lots of time. Matt's put together probably 100 different charts for me, just really doing a root cause analysis. Why are we down so much? And in looking at other numbers, and there are some preliminary reports out there, how are other colleges doing? Other colleges are down, but there aren't a lot who are down as much as we are. But it's interesting, we have to wait for the official 10th day so that we're all measuring numbers together the same, because some colleges are reporting things informally different than we are. But it looks like this northwestern, I'm going to call us northwestern Illinois, outside of the suburbs, that's we colleges, the 4 and 5 of us in that area, are the ones that are really taking a hit. We think part of it is because Iowa and Wisconsin are such close opportunities for our students to transfer out of state. So we'll wait for those, and we'll share those next month, what those comparables are for other institutions. Most of the colleges in the suburbs are down between 3 and 5%, 3 and 6%. Only one is saying they're up, but again, we want to see the official numbers, and why we're hearing they're up is because they really had a big push on dual credit, and they've really increased their dual credit enrollments. So while those are good, they don't give you the tuition like other credits give you. So, but it's all in, and everybody measures the same. Adult basic ed, dual credit, credit bearing, all enrollments are in together. So when we started to see that we were down this 9%, and you know we've had these, we've been down even more earlier this summer. I know I talked about it with you folks. It's just been troubling, and why did we not rebound a little bit more? And even Northern, most of you probably heard or saw in the news, Northern's down about 5.3%. So we're even down more than Northern. So, so we needed to just kind of look at that. Oops. I can just click next. All right, so here's the first one. So what this is looking at is our expenses. Most of you were at in-service. You heard Bob Johnson talk about our significant increase in the cost of tuition. And so we started to look at that and say, yes, our tuition went way up, but 140% or 100 whatever percent it went up. However, our overall budget hasn't gone up, and our tuition went up so much because the state revenue has gone down. So wanted to just present that in a graphic to show. So the line, the kind of blue-gray colored line that goes across is the college full-time equivalents over the years, past 5 years, starting at 2013 with the projected of this year. So in 2013, we had 3,356 full-time equivalent enrollments. If everybody took 30 credits a year, we'd have 3,356 students, okay? And then you come, and this year we are projected to be at 2,191. So that is a decline of 30%. Do we know what that percentage is? I think it's probably around 30%. So you can see how we've gone down. Now, you can also see the top line is our expenses for the college. So 21,000 in 2013 to 20,000 this current fiscal year. And then the bottom line here, the light gray, is tuition. So you can see that even though over the years our budget has come down and our enrollments have come down, tuition has been pretty flat. So while it's gone up significantly, it has not increased overall for our college. So really our tuition increases have just kept pace with our decreased state aids and our decrease in enrollment. Then we thought, you know what, let's look at the dollars with the cost of CPI, Consumer Price Index. So we took it in the real dollars of 2013. What does that look like in 2018? So you can see in 2013 dollars, we've actually decreased our budget by $3 million. Tuition has gone down by about $500,000, and then the enrollments are the same. So you can see in terms of the comparing comparable dollars, you can see how our budget has gone down. Has it gone down as much as our enrollment? It hasn't, but there is an efficiency of scale, right? The more students you have, there's an economy, that you save money there. So the fewer students you serve, the less money you have to do it. So it does get harder. Just because you have 500 less students doesn't mean you can get rid of somebody in financial aid, right, Cynthia? I mean, that's just the reality, or get rid of an advisor, or get rid of an instructor. It just doesn't work that way. So that's what makes it hard when you start to lose students, is it doesn't necessarily mean we can just start getting rid of positions that do key functions. So it just gets more expensive to do our instruction. We started to talk about NIU. There's been so much discussion about NIU since I came here, right? The big, what did you call it, Bernie? The big gorilla down the road?
800-pound gorilla.
Thank you, at my interview. It was my interview, right? When Bernie... Okay, very good. So we just started to talk about why are we down 9%? What is going on? And so Kevin was able to find the top graph, which is NIU heads since 1997, the last 20 years. What has happened with enrollment at Northern, and then what has happened with enrollment at Kish. Besides 2009, would you say there's some similarities there? As goes Northern, so goes Kish. So the best thing that could happen for Kish is that Northern starts to grow in enrollments. We need to be their partner. We need to help them to help us and really do things together. So this was pretty interesting information. I don't know that any of us realize just how closely we are aligned in our enrollments. And I'm having breakfast with Lisa Freeman in 2 weeks, and I saw her at a meeting, and I had seen these, and I said, we've got to talk. You've got to see how closely aligned we are, and we need to talk about how we can even do more things together and support each other. So then Bob Johnson had asked about financial aid for this when we started to look at this in-district, out-of-district enrollments. And so I think I'm going to go to the next one first, I think. Yeah, I want to go to this one first. So then we started to look at, okay, so Northern's down, we're down. Where are these students coming from? Now we started to pull out students who not necessarily pay in-district tuition, but have graduated from our in-district high schools. So we went back 10 years. Of the 5,768 enrollments at Kishwaukee College, 2,338 of them, or 40% only, graduated from a district high school. 60% of our students graduated from a high school outside of our district. It got even less down to 37, 38, and now, so you can see as our overall enrollments have declined down to 44, 51, our in-district enrollments have stayed pretty constant. We're not losing our district residents in our enrollments. We're losing out of district. Remember the graph with Northern, out of district students. Now, even now, with as low as our enrollments are, we're still not half of our students having been graduates from our district high schools. We are losing out of district graduates. We are losing people who are coming to our district to go to college. We are mirroring Northern. So this relationship of people coming out of the suburbs, which is the biggest part of, coming out of the city of Chicago is definitely our biggest out-of-district population. We're losing those as Northern is losing their students. So again, that relationship. So it's very interesting to note that we're doing all right with our district residents, but you really can't go to the city of Chicago and recruit students for Kish. So again, we're back to what options do we have to support Northern, to hope that students come out to DeKalb to go to school, take classes at Kish, bring their friends with them so that they can co-enroll. So what strategies do we have? Well, we did take a little bit of bump in district residents from 16 to 17. And I think we're close this year. We're about 2,000 something, right, at this point in time. So I think this year our district residents will be very similar. We'll be pretty flat. What we're losing is out of district. It makes us feel a little powerless because there's not a whole lot you can do to encourage more out of district students. I'm going to go to the next one too, because I think to mirror this, and I've met with two groups of presidents since we've stumbled on this information, and I've asked them things like this, like, of your students on your campus, how many of them graduated from your district high schools? And they all said the vast majority, at least 75%, and even Dave over at SAUC said, well, I think it's almost all of our students. So this is very unique, and Matt's working on data from Heartland, which has Illinois State, which has U of I. We're going to look at those colleges and see if they have similar things, and then again have similar patterns of enrollment, that it really is the community college and the university together in those enrollments, or if we're just really unique. We need to know that. It helps us going forward as we're dealing with this information. Then we looked at persistence, because a big part of enrollment isn't just getting new students. A big part of enrollment is keeping your students. So then we started to look at persistence and how did we do fall to fall. So the green is those who graduated from one of our district high schools. So you can see over there the average is 48.2. For our local district high school students, we're at 49.8. So we do well. We're above the average in our in-district graduates. Our out-of-district, we go down from 49.8 in keeping them here fall to fall, down to 38. So not only are fewer of them coming here, when they do come here, they're staying a shorter amount of time than our district students. And then our overall average is 44%. Again, the mean is 48%. One of the things that's really important in these numbers, so we do a better job of retaining our in-district students, there's no doubt, and that probably makes sense. They live here, their families are here, if they're gonna go to school, they're gonna stay here. There's probably some logic in that. So again, those are our best. So where are we gonna put our efforts in recruiting? We're gonna put them with our in-district students, because those are the ones we have the most success with. Kish's transfer rate. Transfer rate is the rate at which students go out of your college and enroll in another college before earning their credential. Our transfer rate at Kish is 23%. The average, the national average, or is it the cohort group in this study of the NCC BP? It's an iPads? Okay, so that is a national. It's the state education system. The mean transfer rate is 17%. So that means we are 6% above the national average of students transferring out before they finish their degree here. If we could even get that 6% to stay here and finish their degrees before they transfer, our enrollments will go up. So by doing all this data analysis, there's 2 areas we got to focus on, folks. We got to keep our students. We got to get our transfer rates down before they graduate. So we got to work on helping them understand IAI, transfer, how you stay here till you get your degree. And we have to work on recruitment of local students. We already do pretty well. Katie was talking to a person who does focus groups. I'm asking her to set up some focus groups with parents and students and counselors and teachers in the K-12s to find out how can we get even more of our local students here. And the consultant is saying, you know, you're at 30, 32%. We're down a little bit this year, 29 point something, but that's a really good number. And I'm saying it's not good enough. But even when we get that up, there are only 1,200 graduates coming out of our local district high schools in a year. It's not a big population. We're getting about 30% of them. I've been saying 50. We got to get it up, folks. Even a couple hundred students would really, really help our numbers. So we're going after local graduates, and we're going after retaining our students. Those are going to be our 2 strategies for enrollment. So like I said, we've done a lot of data digging. We're really looking at where can we go, how can we get more enrollments, and that's where we've got to be. The one that I skipped, I can go back. This was Bob Johnson had asked about financial aid. And this is interesting. Probably the most interesting thing is this is, again, comparing those who graduated from our in-district high schools and out-of-district high schools and how they do in financial aid. And, of course, subsidized loans. They have to come live here. They take out more of our loans. But that is an issue because nationwide, those who default on loans the most are those who don't complete their degree, and our persistence with our out-of-district students is lower. And we have a cohort default rate problem on student loans. We know that as an institution, we are higher than the national average. So that's probably coming from those students who come out here from the city and go to school and don't complete. So if they come here, we've got to get them to complete because it'll just help a lot of our numbers overall. So then there's just a dollar amount. And again, this will also be posted. Matt will put this out on his portal if you want to see this in a little more detail. Before I go on, does anybody have any thoughts or questions on any of this? Yes, Bernie, you want to step up to the mic so that people in the video can hear you?
I have 2 questions. Number 1, isn't it true that 2013, 2014, Rahm Emanuel said free tuition to the city colleges?
Yes, so that did affect our enrollments, yes.
That was a big effect.
It was.
And number 2, are we going after that defaulted money that they owe us?
Well, a cohort default rate is not, it's money they owe on their student loans, not to the college. But when you talk about bad debt, which was also discussed at the board meeting, we are interviewing for collection agencies, and we already do take, if they get a state tax refund, we do take that if they owe us money. And they might owe us money by, if you got financial aid for full-time status and then you dropped a couple classes. The college has to repay that to the Department of Education, and then we as a college have to collect it from the students. So when we don't get it back, we have to write it off. It's a couple $100,000, $270,000 this year. So we're going to start using a collection agency to try to get some of that money back as well.
Is there any mechanism that we could like be a little bit more judicious about giving out loans?
You cannot. It's interesting, right? It's a good concept, and wouldn't you think if the government's going to hold you accountable for that, getting that money repaid? But we have, if they are eligible for it, we as an institution by law have to give it to them. I know it's kind of it's an interesting web they weave there with financial aid. But thank you for the questions. Yes, and we did talk about that, the free tuition that was given to students, and did they stay? Although it's interesting because the City Colleges of Chicago's community college enrollments haven't spiked. They're down as much. They're down like, in fact, some of them are down like we're down. A couple of them, I think there's about 8 or 9 or so, and a couple of them are down like double digits, or close. So, any other questions on any of this information? It's sobering, like I said, because I feel like we have less control over increasing our enrollments than I would like to have, but we still have areas where we can. We can work on that retention, and you'll see Michelle and I started a conversation with Sonia yesterday about where our resources related to retention and how are we moving in that direction, and then as far as enrollment, and we will focus on local local high school. We got 5 of them, a couple on the fringe, so 8 total. That's where we'll be doing our recruitment because that's where we get the bang for our buck and working on programs with them. Okay. Phew. I'm going to ask RJ to quickly do an IT update, and then Kevin's going to talk about facilities.
Just the HR, stuff you shared.
Oh, okay. Just a quick update on what we're still working on. We're working on a lot of things in financial aid and HR right now. Cindy, we sat in a consulting session for 3 days. It was a really good time. But we made a lot of progress, and we're hoping that we're going to use the self-service product to further getting the students their financial aid in the quickest manner possible. And then we're focusing on HR, and we're going to look at web time entry and implementing that next. So that's just something we'll be rolling out hopefully in the next couple months for student workers and start there. So those are the 2 main things that we're currently working on.
Okay, let's talk facilities. Who's ready? Okay, good, there's a few, okay. So we updated the board kind of on what's going on with some of the work that's going to be done and planning that's going to be done. And we started with the idea of a campus master plan. If you've been here for a while, you know that about 7 years ago we did a campus master plan, but at that time it was really focused on construction, right? So where are we going to build the student center? Where's the new parking lot going to go? Where should we build all the roads? So that's all been done. We don't have to do that. This time around, it's more focused on how are we going to use the space that we have? What's the best way to use it, or what's the best way to not use some of the space? You saw some of the enrollment numbers. If you've been here for a while, you know that we used to be over 8,000 students. I think we topped out at almost 8,200 students. And so this year, I think as you saw, we're hoping to be around 5,000. And we have 600,000 square feet. So we know that, and if you even think of those 5,000 students who are here, how many of them are dual credit? How many of them are online? How many of them are taking Kishwaukee math classes at NIU? So what's the best way that we can use our space? Not only our classrooms and our labs, but our administrative and all of our office space. So we have to start thinking about that. And so we're going to engage kind of a planning process. We're going to look at utilization. We've done that once. We have to redo it now because we're in a new semester. Our enrollment was down 9%, so we have to look at that again. And we have the facility condition report. So we know that there are spaces on campus that we need to do something about. But are we going to do that to all 600,000 square feet? Or are we going to pick spots where we really need to use the space and let's fix those up? And so that's kind of what the master planning is all about. How do we best use the space or not use the space? And then what we're going to fix up, let's go and identify that and let's fix up that space. So that is a process that we're going to start. Really, it's already started, and at the December board meeting, we'll share with the board kind of a consensus plan on what that might look like. But in the meantime, I also updated them on some things that, one, that we know we're going to have to do, and then 2, things that we're doing right now. So a couple of the things we know we're going to have to do, one of them is the boilers that control the west side of campus. We know we're going to have to replace those, so we're working on a project for that. And there are some other major things that we might be looking at too, including our wastewater treatment plant. That's the original treatment plant that we had back in 1968. So we're going to be looking at different options for what's the best way to make sure that everything in that regard is okay. And I think that's important to everybody. But so that's kind of the middle range, and then the things that we're working on right now, I updated the board, and I'll just let you know about that too. Some of these will be obvious to you, but we are renovating the fire pit areas. One of that work is already underway. That's everything from the ceiling to the electric, to the flooring, to the furniture, improving the seating around the fire pit areas. So if you've ever sat on those seats, they're kind of low. So you sit down and your knees are, come up because that's only about a foot. So we're going to raise those seats so people can actually sit there. We're going to do some painting, lighting. It's going to look very nice. We're starting in the A1200, and then we'll move. Just some other things. There's some water leakage in the atrium in the courtyard behind the gym that we're going to fix next semester. We're going to repair some of the shoulders on the road. So there's a lot of things that are happening. One thing that I wanted to mention, though, is in the south parking lot right out here. Last month we completed that project. So we have I think lots of people parked there. But one of the things that we didn't get to do is to take care of all the islands. So I'm sure you've seen that there are some islands there that are overgrown. They've got about half of them done, and they're going to start on the other half, actually tomorrow, I think. And they'll have those done by the end of the month. So that's kind of an important project for Stacy and Keith and their team. So we updated the board on that, and so they know what's going on this semester, this year, and then things that are happening right now. So that's what's going on in the land of facilities. Did I get everything? Okay. Yeah. I can do that. Yeah. Let me find my notes for that. Nope. I have my notes for that here. Student Success Scholarship notes. Here they are. Okay. So discussions on the Student Success Scholarship, boy, those started over the summer after the state of Illinois passed the budget. So they passed the budget, and that gave us funds for FY17 and FY18, which we're still, as Lori indicated, we're still waiting for a lot of that, but at least it's in the budget and scheduled to be received. So start talking about, are there ways that we can help students financially in light of that? And so a couple things that we thought of. One would be that students would get back half of the tuition increase that they paid if they successfully complete their courses. So if a student takes just a regular biology where they're paying regular tuition, they would get back half or $5 of the tuition increase per class. If they took a 1.5 variable tuition, they'd get $7.50 and then $10 for the ones that charge double. So they don't have to, it's by class. So if they take 5 classes and they pass 5, then they would get the scholarship for that. If they only passed 4, they would get it for 4. So it's not an all or nothing kind of proposition. And the way that it would work is if they choose to enroll for the spring, as soon as grades are posted, that credit will appear right on their bill or right on their account, so they'll see that immediately. If they graduate, or if they choose for whatever reason not to re-enroll, then they would just get a check for that. So it's a way to give back money. So we reviewed that with the board, and they ultimately did approve what I'm talking about was approved. But we also talked to them about other things. There's going to be a Spirit Wear Week in the bookstore. That's the week of October 9th, and that's going to be half off all of the Spirit Wear. So Kishwaukee printed logos. Students will be able to buy that for half off. Students will also receive a voucher for food in the cafeteria. That will be a $10 voucher, and that'll be, they'll get it this month to use by the end of the month. And then we've also eliminated the Wellness Center fee, too, for students, so they won't have to pay that. So scholarships, bookstore savings, free food, and wellness center fees waived, so they can work out whenever they want, whenever the wellness center is open. So we talked to the board about that, and they ultimately approved that. So I think a press release went out, and I know it was on the radio this morning, and emails to students, so we're communicating to it, and obviously the feedback so far, very positive, so thanks.
Good, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
A piece
that's
of
yours.
that.
This is your stuff.
Track of the microphone. A piece of that is staff also get into the Wellness Center free. Woohoo! So you can go into the Wellness Center, The hours right now are 9 to 3, but Phil, our student trustee, mentioned at the board meeting that he'd really like it open till 6. So what do you think, Scott? Are we gonna get there? Scott's just gotta find a few more people to work, but we probably will. And then again, you know, I know people like to work out in the morning, so we'll just monitor how often it's open. But we have it, it's wonderful space, let's use it. I think it is a good thing for all of us, and it helps get out some energy, and especially as the weather gets cold, you can't be out on the ring road as much. So thank you, Kevin, for all of those updates and all of your work on those projects. So it's all good stuff. I feel like I should have saved those slides for the end, because I feel like the mood in here is woo, but there is a lot of good things going on at our college, folks, and you need to remember that yes, while that is tough, we are gonna work like crazy to turn it around and make it better. On my president's report, there was just a couple of things that I want to mention today that I talked about. We were presented with the Illinois Association of Community College Agriculture Instructors Community College Teacher of Teachers Award. Janet Gallagher accepted the award at the session when the instructors met at Burlington Central High School on August 22nd. So the award was in recognition of the college horticulture faculty and the members' contributions to the professional growth and development of high school faculty. So that's very cool for us. Matt Fairborn contributed to panel discussion moderated by Office of Community College Research and Leadership titled Where to Start, Scaling Up Registered Apprenticeships. Matt will be presenting with some other folks. Where are you, Matt? I think I saw you in here. There's Matt. Matt will be presenting with some apprenticeship people at the next board meeting, talking about what we are doing with that German-American partnership, so that we'll have more on that next month to share. There was an Agriculture Advisory Committee meeting on Tuesday morning. We're bringing back ag in a more formal way than we've had it in a while. Agribusiness, Tammy Tigler, Chase, a few other people, Steve Duran, some other people have been working on that quite a bit and getting it ready to go. And we'll go forward. Precision Ag, which is working with computers and electronics and the GPSs and all, that's a really hot area right now. We have heard feedback from our local high schools that their ag programs are booming. Lots of students enrolling in ag programs, so we want to capture that. And I got to tell you, when I'm out, I've been out a lot. I was out this morning with the Golden K's at 8 o'clock this morning, and everybody is excited about ag coming back to Kish, because it is the foundation of this college. So what we all started with, and as we're going into our 50th anniversary, it's really something nice to be able to talk about. Getting feedback on other programs we're going to be looking at. Logistics, supply chain management is an area, culinary is an area. There's going to be some things that we're going to add that I do think will help get us new enrollments. I know when I sat in Michelle Rothmeyer's seat and I would say to my president, to the VP of instruction, you've got to give me a product to sell. I need a new product to sell. And truly, when you've got new programs, it is fun. People get excited about new things, and it'll jack it up a little bit on our recruitment efforts. There is a force training lab, use of force training lab that's being developed over in the, what number is that area over there? What is it? A1407, thank you, over by welding and some of those classes over there. So that equipment is for the criminal justice program, and it was funds secured through grants and donations, so they're working on setting it up. So maybe do an open house when it's all set to go. I think that might be fun, so we can see what's going on. The DACA email that I sent out to students, to staff, gotten a lot of really good feedback. People are very happy to hear students. I've gotten some from adjunct faculty, some from regular faculty. They're very happy to see the message that we are an inclusive organization. So it feels good to know that people are recognizing that it is important to us, that we accept all, and that's what community colleges are all about. So that's why we love working here. Michelle, do you want to do an athletics update? Do you want to just share? I have it if you didn't bring it.
Really, this kudos goes out to Scott Kaywall and his team and all the recruiters and the academic advisors that have helped to grow our sports here this year as well. We had 86 current athletes right now. for a total of 1,200 credit hours, revenue of about $190,000 in tuition. Our in-district numbers ended up being at 44%. I say that we got quite a few basketball players at the last minute that kind of skewed our in-district versus out-of-district, but it's great. We're glad to have them here. And so our out-of-district's at 56%. A year ago, we were at 20% in-district and 80% out-of-district. So we doubled it. Great job. Kudos to Scott and his team. And everybody that helps with that. I know that Jackie King does much residency with that. I can do a shout out to many people that had their hands in all of that. So thank you for that. The one thing that Scott pointed out in the report that I shared with the board is that 74% of last year's freshman athletes came back. It's 85% if you count the 3 that aren't playing this year. So that's pretty good for retention efforts. Thanks to Lori, we were able to get our freshman baseball players back. We had quite a few of them from Florida, and Josh worked really hard at the last minute. He did most of that re-recruiting probably 2 weeks before classes started, and they all came back to finish their degrees with us, so that was great. We are going to be, Scott is already interviewing for soccer coaches. I did hear from Keith this morning that he'd be willing to help find some recruits if we're still looking for more to interview. We really are looking, we got a lot of out-of-district coaches that have applied, but not really anybody from our area. And we know that soccer is going to be good. Lori's heard it, I've heard it, Graciella's heard it. We've got soccer players in our area high schools that want to come here and play soccer. So we'll have men and women. That'll start next fall. Keith and his team, and I think Dave reported out at the last meeting that they found the bottom of the soccer field. So whatever that may mean. I'm sure those working on it know what that means. So we'll have soccer and then cross country. Scott is actually, yeah. Scott's actually going to go to some meetings in the next month or here to learn a little bit more about what that looks like. And we were just talking today, it looks like we might need one coach, and they coach both men and women, so it'll be good to have them here. But that's potentially 40 more athletes, 40 to 50 more athletes than what we have now. So next year at this time, I'm hoping to increase all of those numbers. So thank you, Scott, and your team.
Thank you. Thank you. Very good work. Some of the changes we made to athletics is that scholarships are now only given to in-district students. We've reduced the amount of the scholarships, really trying to make it a financially affordable option for us to continue to have athletics at our college. We actually have people coming to watch our athletics now, and that's a really great thing. The one other thing I want to quickly touch on, we're running out of time. I knew this was a lot today. Our nursing accreditation, our visit is coming up at the end of September. That is a really, really big deal for our college. Nursing is such an important program to us, not only because it produces nurses in our economy, but those programs fill up our gen eds, our science classes, our social science classes, the prospective students who want to be in our healthcare and nursing field. So it's very important to us, and it's very important that we're accredited. The staff have been working really, really hard on the self-study and prepping for the visit that's coming up September 25th to the 28th. There will be visitors on campus talking with folks about the accreditation process. There's a book. It's probably double the size of my dissertation that they had to write for this accreditation, and kudos to Betty and all of the team. I know it's a group effort. I know Tammy get lots of emails and invites and meeting agendas from her, so I know lots and lots of people have been working on that, and over the summer lots of faculty were here helping to get that done. So hopefully by March and April will be the official, but we should have a pretty good feeling. They have been working on this since 2012. So that's a long project, and we're wishing them well, and we're very excited to have this in the rearview mirror and be celebrating on our success of accreditation. So anything else you want to say on that, Betty?
What's happening when you see us walking around just smiling?
Last Friday, I was at a Presidents and Trustees Association meeting, and we got Karen Hunter Anderson and a few others of her staff were sharing some data, and I just want to share a couple of quick numbers related to enrollments, because I think this will help put some of our stuff in perspective. Enrollments statewide in the Illinois Community College system are down 60,000 students. We are below 800,000 enrolled in the community colleges in Illinois. It is the lowest in the history of the system. Mostly the decline is in white students. We've had some increase in Latino students and Latina students, but also a slight decrease in Black African American students. But the majority of the decline is in white students, and 2 to 1, it's females. So females are not, and we all probably know if you've watched trends, Kish is no different than others. The majority of the population in your colleges anymore are female, about 60-40, 62-38. More women have been going to college, 2 to 1, less women are going to college. What will be really scary in that number is if those young women are leaving our state, because they are the ones who have children. And so if they've moved out of our state and go to other states, go to get their education and stay there, that's not a good thing for Illinois. So there's some concern there that it's so many females that are moving, down 17% in females and 8% in males. Biggest decline is in CT, 20% decline in CT. At Kish, we have a little bit bigger decline this year in transfer than CT. So we're not exactly replicating what's happening statewide, but CT is really down. Transfer has been pretty steady. This one's not going to be surprising, down 50% in adult ed. We hadn't had money for adult ed, so a lot of colleges stopped doing it. Here's some good news. We are up 50% in the number of graduates, raw number of graduates since 1995, but most of them are in less than 1-year programs. So I've talked about short-term programs. I've talked about people not wanting to go to school as long, and this is just telling that that is true, that that's what people are graduating from. That's what they want to do. So I think we're going in the right direction there. And I know looking at Pranavalon, I know you and I have had that conversation about online classes not being 16 weeks, getting them down and shortening the time period. So really looking at how do we condense the learning period for our learners. That's what they want. They want shorter cycles, so we'll have to work on that. The goal, 60% of the population by 2025, most of those graduates will need to come out of community colleges, and it's a little grim. So it does help to know that other people are experiencing some of this as well, but the state overall as a system, there are some challenges. Bill and I went out and met with Tom Demmer yesterday and had some good conversation about what's going on, and there's definitely concern, but he too says, and he's said this before and I agree, unfortunately what the media talks about with the state of Illinois is the problems and the concerns and the state budget. Now we just got a budget, now everybody's talking about will we have a budget, and I assured him Kish is done talking about budget publicly. We're not going to say, well, if we get a budget we'll do this, or if we don't. We're good right now, we've got reserves, we're fine. Because as soon as you start talking about we don't know what we can do because we don't have a budget, they all start to go out of state, or they don't come to college, or whatever they're doing. We want them to come here. Kish is going to be here celebrating their 100th anniversary, guys. Kish is not going away. We are going to be here, and we're going to be here educating those students. So that's the story we're going to tell, and we're going to focus on student success. So I think that that's really the important message that we send, that we do great things for students here, and we're going to keep working at that. The last thing I want to do is I just want to, for a minute, share employees. We have some new employees. Tashina Briggs, is Tashina here? She's at TRIO. Okay, we'll catch her next month, remind me. We'll introduce her. She's our new director of our Upward Bound program that's working with DeKalb High School. Terry Powers. Welcome, Terry. I don't think I've had a chance to meet you yet. Terry is making sure you all get paycheck. She's our new payroll coordinator. Woohoo! Very important position at the college. Suzanne Meerman. Is Suzanne here? Suzanne is adult education and transition specialist. How about Patty Ragg? Patty is a curriculum and training specialist. Those are grant-funded positions in our adult basic education area. Michelle Olinger, stand up, Michelle. You need to stand up and wave to everybody because you're very important to me. Michelle is the new executive assistant for me. I'm thrilled to have her. Oh, it's been a tough 6 weeks. Wilma has been amazing. Cindy has been amazing doing double duty, but you know what? I have learned. you always think, oh, it'll be okay. Oh my gosh, it has been really, really hard. So I'm thrilled to have Michelle helping me, keeping things organized and keeping me on track, and everybody else as well. So all good. And then Lauren Rismondo, I don't know that the coach has come, but she's our new assistant softball coach. We had one person leave, Savannah Washington. She has left. She was a grant funded at the WIOA. She worked with WIOA Youth. And Kim Jordal, where's Kim? Kim has a new job. Kim is now working for Jamie, and Jamie's thrilled. Jamie had a long summer as well, but we know Kathy Mershon was great and pitched in, and Tammy pitched in, and Brianna pitched in, and you know what, we're a big team. That is one thing. We really are great at helping each other and supporting each other. So, but Jamie and I should probably celebrate together because now we have our assistants and life is good. So we've got about 4 minutes. Want to open it up to, I got a couple more things, don't I? Bill and Cindy both have something they need to share quickly.
I just have a couple of really quick things that I'd like to share. As of October 1st, our student workers will now be going through human resources instead of the Career Center. Mindy Lang will be our main contact for that. So if you have positions that you need to hire for, they will be out on our HR website too. So feel free to ask any questions about that. And the second thing is good news. We have a condolence and congratulations policy now, guideline type of thing. What we'd like to do is ask for your help if you know of somebody that's been in the hospital, someone who's had a death in their family, an employee, a spouse, brother, son. We've got guidelines out on our portal page that tells who's all applicable. But the college would just like to send an expression of our thoughts for those type of situations. So if we don't know about it, we aren't able to do it, so we're just asking for your help to let us know what's happening. Okay?
Very good. As much as I miss Cindy, I know she's doing a wonderful job in HR.
Well, I've got some good news. As Lori said, we have a great team here, and we have a very generous workforce here. You'll recall about 3 weeks ago, I stood up here, and I explained that we were launching an employee giving campaign, and I mentioned that last year, through the whole fiscal year, we had about 34 employees contribute around $7,000 for the year. And I think part of the numbers had to do not with our workforce, but with the foundation. At that point, we were in transition, weren't working it really. In just 3 weeks, 53 employees have donated $11,660. We're halfway to our goal, more than halfway to our goal. Thank you. There's always this part to every. So I should say there's still lots of opportunities, and you don't have to look for a payroll deduction. You can just give a check. I mean, anything. We really are still committed to the 100% participation, and we value anything you can give us. We're still going for $5,500 scholarships for our 50th year. We're at 26 now, but 26 for 50 doesn't have a ring to it. So anything you can do to help, we certainly appreciate it. And Christy's on the ball and come around probably next time and say something about it.
Thank you, Bill. And I think it's really important that people have to feel good about giving. That's the message. 52% thank you. We'd love to see more. We'd love to see 100%. But people have to feel good about what they do every day. And we know the need of our students, but you have to decide if that works for you. So that's the really important part of it. But we wanted to make sure that people understand the opportunity that's there and the great need that our students have as they're going through college. As we all remember when we went through school, how challenging it can be. So I think now have I covered? Is there anything I've missed? Oh, one other real quick, flex schedule. There's buzz out there. Are we going to do a flex schedule or are we not going to do a flex schedule? We're kind of going to do a flex schedule. We haven't gotten it all quite nailed down. It'll be nailed down soon, but I know there's discussions going on in various areas. And here's the reason, folks. We're focusing on our customers, and our customers do not leave at 4 o'clock. Yes, we have a little bit of a lull in the afternoon between like 3 and 5. But this campus, if you're around after 5 o'clock, there's a lot of people who are coming in our doors between 4:30 and 5 and 5:30. So we are going to allow people in certain areas under certain guidelines and working with supervisors in certain areas to work 4 9-hour days and then half days on Fridays, and people who choose, but it's optional. It's not required. We will stay open on Friday afternoons, and we're going to assess how late we need to be open. So people who want to work 8 hours, 5 days a week, that option is still there. It's still good, but it will be nice for us to provide services a little bit longer during the day. So that will be rolled out. We'll have more information, but I know there's buzz on it, so I wanted you to hear it from me. I know some people have had discussions. I know some are opposed, some are against it. You don't have to be, you can be whatever you want to be. If you're opposed to it, work 5 days a week, 8 hours. If you like it, work 9 hours with 4 under the guidance of your supervisor. It was on the survey for in-service. We did ask people. The results were really split, right, Matt? We were pretty close to like 55% wanted it, 45% didn't. What we're trying to do, again, is serve our students, because some of us discovered this summer, I certainly discovered this summer, how nice it was to have people here during the day. And now Dave and I had this conversation in the hall one day about how much easier it was for IT to do their work too when the people were here a full day till 5 o'clock. So if we have students here, if people want to work those hours, then we're going to make that an option. But it's not a requirement. It's not going to be a requirement for anybody. We're not moving to closing our campus at noon on Fridays right now. We really can't. We've got KEC on campus. There's other things that go on Friday afternoons. We're not going down that road right now. I'm not going to say never, but you've got to analyze the data, and we're not there yet. We haven't analyzed it enough to make the decision, and we're not going to make it midstream. But we will start to move forward at some point in time down the road here where we start to give people that option. Example is Michelle, my assistant. I don't need her here Friday afternoons. I don't have a lot going on Friday afternoons, but I need her here long days for Monday through Thursday. So when she came in, I said, you know what? And then I said to my team, I said, well, if I'm doing it with mine, we need to make this an option for other people if 55% of the staff said they would like to do that, and we know it's good for our students. So I just want to clarify that because I know there's been some buzz. You hear it from me, and then you know the truth. So there'll be more coming from supervisors. Ask your supervisor. Then we'll come back, and I think this year we're going to, or this week maybe at senior leadership, we're going to tie this up with a bow. We've talked about it a lot. But again, you don't want to just rush to decisions. You want to make sure you're analyzing and making it work for people. So that's where that's at, so you can be thinking about it, and hopefully you've had some conversations in your divisions and departments about how that would work for you. Okay, questions, thoughts, comments? Anything else for the good of the, good news? Anybody got anything good to share? Jamie, woohoo!
The art gallery is kicking off our year with a collaboration with NIU, which is wonderful. So NIU professor Shechao Wang is coming. His work is up in the gallery now. And on the 27th, he'll be coming and doing a demonstration for our students and for anyone on campus who would like to see Chinese calligraphy or Chinese ink paint. Also, the NIU Chinese Music Ensemble, a couple of members from their team will also be coming over to play some instruments. So we're doing a nice tie-in with some of our courses. We've also talked with Melissa Gallagher's Chinese Language and Culture class that's going on through continuing ed. So we're trying to just create a little bit of a buzz to let people know that Kishwaukee College is a place to come for arts and culture. And again, some of the NIU students are going to be coming to that event. So we'll get some of them on campus. Maybe they'll see how great our facilities are, and they'll think about picking up classes here too. So kind of a collaborative effort that we're going to have in 2 weeks.
Awesome, thank you, very good. Anybody else? Wow. Matt, you got nothing? Really? Or Chase? You two are usually good for something. Jamie's just going to show those men up.
One other thing, speaking of arts and culture, we have an adjunct instructor who is working with Scott Kaywell to start a choir. So I know that's been something that we've talked about in student feedback sessions, and again, looking for more ways to engage our students. So John Rakes and Scott Kaywell and I are working on a choir for spring, and all of you would be welcome to participate.
Oh, that's awesome. Yay, very good. That's awesome. Bill, you going to join?
All right, I kind of feel like I'm beating the drum over and over, but We do have our hydroponics course out for the second 8 weeks of the semester, so it starts Tuesday, October 17th from 1 to 2:15. It's a credit and a half. And I do want to give some kudos to Rich Aldi. He has been working like a madman in the bay 4 of the greenhouse to help get all of these varied and complex systems assembled and put in place. So we've got that going on. And I had other stuff, but it's escaping me now. But anyway, good stuff.
Great, that is wonderful, thank you. That'll be really good, and we are seeing quite a buzz with our late starts. We've had to put out some new classes, especially online classes, starting with Katie's starting a marketing campaign. We are going to advertise in the Northern Star, right, that we're doing these late start classes, so we're hoping that that will help our enrollment numbers as well. Missy?
I would just like to reiterate that Kishwaukee College is getting cross-country in the fall of 2018. In case those of you that didn't hear, you'll be seeing numbers from that. Count me in.
Are you going to be running with them, Missy? She's going to be running it. I'll come help you. I'll run with those students. I'll be behind them, but I'll be running with them.
All right. So as we're approaching the end of a long week, I'm starting to live in puns. So you said a buzz, and that also reminded me that we will be taking the honey off of the Kishwaukee College beehive in the next couple of weeks as well. So we'll have some of that as well. So.
Just be careful you don't get stung. If you see a little red circle on the back of my knee, I had a bad weekend, and I texted Matt, and he said, get Raid. Yeah, I tried that. They're really hardy, but we've got honeycomb in our backyard and a lot of bees. They didn't like me, and I wasn't even close to them. Whatever. Okay, anything else? Megan, a newcomer.
I just wanted to say something in response to Bernie's question about defaults. There is something that we can do as a college, and it's promote financial literacy and express to them the weight that this new responsibility takes after college. So that's something that we can do aside from we can't limit how much they get or anything like that.
I agree, and that is a message that's a really good one in the community. We don't always want to say, you know, I emphasize small class sizes, great faculty, will help you get on a good path so you're not taking classes you don't need. But truly I say, but we're a quarter of the price of a Northern credit. And so that's important to people. And you're right, and then you get out of school and you can't afford a car and you can't afford a house because you've got so much student debt. I know a lot of 20-somethings who are like that. So it is really important, the financial literacy of don't pile all this debt on yourself. It's so true. So thank you, that's a good point. Anyone else? All right, thank you. You've been a great audience. I know it's a heavy topic today, but we're going to figure this out, folks, together. Have a great weekend.